The folks at Quincy Asian Resources and the Green Energy Consumers Alliance are teaming up to present a special Earth Day event. This is happening on Saturday, May 6th at the South Shore YMCA here in Quincy. So joining us from both of those organizations, we welcome back Anna Vanderspeck, who's been here before. Welcome
Hello.
back, Anna. Nice
Thanks
to see you again. You're very welcome. And newcomer, certainly to the program, but not from the organization. Quincy Asian Resources has been featured here in QATV many times, but Feng-Shu Zhong has not. So welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Joe.
Great to have you both here. Really appreciate the opportunity to learn about this. Anna, this is not something that's new, right? This presentation about electric vehicles from the Green Energy Consumers Alliance. What is the Alliance, Anna?
Sure. So we are a state-based nonprofit. We're based in Jamaica Plain, but we do work all across the state, and we have a mission to speed the transition to a low-carbon future, which means we run different programs and services that help people access clean energy technologies, in this case electric cars, but we also do advocacy work at the state level to try and make sure we've got supportive policies in place to make sure that this transition moves quickly and fairly.
Is it moving quickly and fairly, would you say?
Not quickly and fairly enough, but that's why we're still here. I think if we're talking about electric vehicles in particular, the transition is very clearly happening. You see major countries all around the world saying we're going to phase out new fossil-fueled vehicles, and you see automakers saying that by certain dates they're only going to offer electric vehicles. That's all great news, but for the climate's sake, to make sure that we keep global warming under the thresholds that scientists have told us we need to, we've got to speed that transition up. So that's where partnerships like this are really valuable.
Yeah, and Feng-Shu, for your part, tell us a little bit about Quincy Asian Resources for folks who might not be aware.
Okay, we are Quincy Asian Resources, Quarry. We are non-for-profit. We serve local immigrants group. We currently, Quarry have three locations. We have here in Quincy and another location in New York City and also in Providence. And we organize like local cultural events for immigrants group. Actually, we are the organizer of one of the biggest cultural event in Quincy. That's the Lunar New Year event.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And we have adult education program. We have youth program. And for my department, it's the community initiative department. So we organize events among community members, promoting awareness of environmental issues, energy saving issues. So yeah, that's why we hold this Earth Day event. Yeah.
Perfect fit, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about, you're relatively new to Quarry, right?
Yes, I joined the team last October.
Okay, so tell me your story a little bit about how you got involved with Quarry and where you come from.
Okay. I have a background of political science study.
Of course, political science, environment,
yeah. I'm always interested in local community development.
Yeah.
I conducted research in China for a while.
Really?
Yes, that's about industry development in local level of China. That's also very related to environmental initiatives. And I had the opportunity here of spending some time in New York State, where I interned in the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Climate Change Office. So I would say I developed a strong interest in environmental issues, policies. And when we moved to Boston, I had the chance to learn this opportunity here at Quarry, promoting energy saving related policies, initiatives at Quincy. So I just joined the team. It fits my interest. I think I can do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has it been what you hoped it would be, or where would you like to go from here?
Where I would like to. Okay. I hope to learn better about how energy saving here in Massachusetts. I think Massachusetts have a very strong drive for promoting energy-related policies. And also, I hope I can be a good liaison between policy and municipal programs, such as here in Quincy. I enjoyed a lot doing outreaching and educational programs among the communities. So I just hope we can have fantastic programs in the future.
Yeah. What areas do you see that need a boost, if you will, when it comes to energy saving here in Massachusetts? You know, what areas are lacking, maybe compared to what you did in New York?
Oh, that's a big question, I would say. But I think here at Quarry, I got the chance to communicate face to face to a lot of different people. So in New York, I stayed more in the office, doing policy analysis and literature review. But here in Quarry, I got the chance to go to the community and talk to people and understand their concerns. And my perception on this initiative is that sometimes people have some misperception on energy saving issues. So we are a liaison being there, to educate people. Energy saving is not far away from you. Like in our organization, we're promoting the Massive program as well. Besides this Act for All, we're collaborating with Green Energy team for EV. So we're letting people know that you can actually take actions on saving energy from just doing the installation work, and we have different governmental incentives helping you to do that. So I think that's the meaningful thing that we're doing here.
Is a language barrier an issue when it comes to environmental issues, energy saving issues? Is that something they have to overcome to address the immigrant population?
Yes, I would agree on that point because especially here in Quincy, and our office located in North Quincy, where is heavily concentrated with the Chinese immigrants. Sometimes they will have language barrier in understanding what is the benefit for them, what is the rebate program, how can they qualify, and how can they join, and also about EV. We're trying to let people know the new models of EV, what's the difference between EV and the internal combustion cars, and also what is the government incentives you can have. So we're providing this linkage between policy and our community members, especially those with language barriers. We try to provide them with workshops with Chinese translation. We translate every flyer into different languages just to accommodate their needs better. I think we're trying our best to accommodate that.
Sure. And I was going to kind of ask the same thing of you. What do you see are some of the common, misconceptions, that folks have when it comes to green energy, if you will?
Green energy broadly. The biggest misconception I think that people still have is that environment and economic issues clash. That protecting the environment will harm the economy. And that's just really not true. That's a very handy story to tell for people who have vested interests in the fossil fuel industry. But the way that you've seen solar prices come down, battery prices come down, wind prices come down, really investing in a green economy makes sense for both economic and environmental reasons. So I think broadly speaking, that's one really big misconception. What we see a lot talking about electric cars are concerns about range, about cost, and about charging. And so that's why this partnership has been so important. Fengxi recently did an EV 101 presentation in Chinese, which is not something that our team can do. And that was awesome because people have exactly the same questions about range and charging and cost, and we've been talking about those for years in English to the audience that we've reached. So this partnership is really excellent in that we can really play to each organization's strengths to together answer people's questions. So I think those are the same questions we get everywhere we go, and we'll have at every event we ever do. People ask those questions, I think.
So, same question though about misconceptions when it comes specifically to electric vehicles. What are facts and what is fiction?
So, first we'll talk about cost. I think a lot of people think electric car, then think Tesla and think luxury, but there's a lot more vehicle models out there. Right now, a Chevy Bolt, which gets about 260 miles per charge, it's all electric, starts around $26,000, but it qualifies for a $7,500 federal tax credit and a $3,500 state rebate. And that really brings the cost down well below the average cost of a new car in the United States. So I think people don't realize how many options there are, and that there are options at different price points now than there were just a couple years ago. The second thing I'll mention is range, that a lot of people, if they don't think Tesla and luxury, they think the first model of the Nissan Leaf that got like 80 miles per charge. That is way in the past at this point. The new fully electric models that are coming out get 250, 300 miles per charge, which is really about as long as somebody wants to drive before taking a break anyway. So the fact that you can do most of your driving in an electric car, I think a lot of people don't quite realize yet. And then the third thing I would say is the charging. I think people have a lot of questions, not necessarily misconceptions, but questions just about how does it work? Can I do it at home? But there is so much more public charging than people think, and there's so much more coming thanks to federal, state, and electric utility investments that space is going to change pretty dramatically in the next 4 years. And I think most people are like, I don't even know what a charging station looks like. So there's a lot of education that needs to be done before we can even get to some of the misconceptions.
Yeah. So, why aren't we all driving around in electric cars? And why aren't the manufacturers putting electric cars on their television commercials? And, why isn't the government telling us where all the charging stations are? Why hasn't it kind of taken the next step, do you think?
It's starting.
Okay.
So that's really exciting. I think a couple years ago when there was one advertisement for an electric car at the Super Bowl, we all cheered. And if you watched the Super Bowl this year, which I did not, but if you did, there were Super Bowl ads all over the place for electric vehicles. Okay. Manufacturers are increasingly announcing new electric vehicle models. A bunch have said, we're not going to sell gas cars after a certain date.
True. Yeah.
So you see announcements like that. And then I lost my train of thought. I was going to answer another question.
The charging stations.
The charging stations. So the charging stations don't stand out like gas stations do because they're not in places where you're going explicitly to charge. They're in places where you're already parked for a couple of hours. So there's not big signposts that say electric charging here, but instead they're in parking lots at malls and supermarkets and gyms and movie theaters and all sorts of places, and most people find them with apps.
Okay.
So if you're not in the know, it's hard to see where they are.
Yeah.
We recommend the website PlugShare. But in terms of government, the federal bipartisan infrastructure law is putting tons of money into building out a fast charging network so that along all of the major highways in the whole country, there's a fast charging station at every 50 miles. So Massachusetts is getting $63.5 million from the federal government just to do that. Last year's climate law in Massachusetts put $50 million towards EV charging, and then the electric utilities, National Grid, Eversource, and Unitil just got approved to spend $400 million over the next 4 years. So that is a huge amount of investment that's coming. So I think we'll be seeing a lot more charging in the coming years.
Another concern I'm sure you hear as well is the time it takes to charge. I go to the gas station and 5 minutes later I've got a full tank of gas and I can go another 300 miles or whatever. Yep. Not the same for electric charging.
True.
Yeah.
It is not the same, but it is also a paradigm shift. So my favorite way to answer the question of how long does it take you to charge comes right from one of our EV ambassadors, somebody who owns an electric car, who said about a minute, because their experience is they come home at night, plug in, go to bed, make dinner, do their thing, and then the next morning when they need the car, they unplug and they're ready to go. Granted, that's much easier to do if you can charge at home. So if you live in an apartment or condo, it's a little bit more complicated, but there is a lot more public charging. So most of the charging is done while you're doing other things, so you don't even notice. But then the super high-powered chargers, the fast chargers that you need for road trips, are getting faster all the time. So generally, it takes about 30 minutes to do 80% of the battery. So if you're going on a road trip, you can stop, have a cup of coffee, stretch your legs, use the restroom, and then go on your way, and it's not as unpleasant as people fear.
Okay, all right. And then there's the cost of, number one, installing a charging station if you need to at your home, and number two, the cost of paying for the charge.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it expensive to install a charging station in your home?
So it depends. So to install a charging station at your home, you need a 240 volt outlet, and basically you need one near where you park, and then you you buy a unit, which you can do online or at a home improvement store and have an electrician hook it up.
Okay.
So often that can cost a couple $100s if it's just the unit and the installation. If you need to lay a new 240 volt line, it can get more expensive. National Grid just got approved to offer help, particularly in apartment buildings or multi-unit dwellings, to help cover some of the costs and bring them down. The amount of the incentive depends on what segment you are in and where you live exactly, and we've got tons of information about that on our website. But particularly if you live in a community that has been designated an environmental justice community by the state, you can have up to 100% of the costs covered by the electric utility. So those will really bring down the costs, and there's also now a federal tax credit for the installation of charging stations. So all of that can bring that upfront cost down.
Okay, so it's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, in
we just
little-
need it to happen faster.
Well, like any change, right? We can see all this and more up close and in person at the event on May 6th, an Earth Day event at the Quincy YMCA. Feng Shu, maybe you can tell us what will be happening there. It is a Saturday. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yes, so like Anna just said, we hope people can get a face-to-face experience and talk with us and talk to the car owners about how their experience of EV. That might answer a lot of the worries of people have, that they might have some over-worriness about how EV, and if they come to the event, they see the EV and they test drive, talk to the EV owners, EV ambassador we call them, they will have better understanding about how EV. So the event is taking place on May 6th, Saturday from 10 to 2. We will have volunteers there guiding people to sign the waiver form and have the test drive. We will have fun community like for kids and family activities. We will have a table providing for kids face painting and different kinds of lawn games like cornhole and a big checker for the kids. Yeah, so people can come and enjoy EV testing and while having fun together.
Okay, so right in the parking lot of the YMCA?
Yes, right at the, it's on the south end corner of the YMCA parking lot, and you can pay attention to where the balloon is.
Okay.
Try to locate.
It'll be obvious.
Yes.
It'll be obvious,
Yes.
okay, you won't be able to miss it, yeah?
Right,
So you could actually test drive an electric vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, well, and will there be a demonstration of charging as well?
We'll have a couple of companies that do charging station installations who will be there, who can
talk to
answer
them.
questions about how much does this cost, what are the incentives.
yeah.
So we're hoping to really have a range of options, so have the static cars so you can talk to owners, do the test rides, have e-bikes there, we're hoping to get scooters there, installers there, and then also just have fun things to do so that kids are happy and make it a well-rounded event.
Okay, and it's free?
Of course.
It's
Yeah,
free.
no charge.
We provide some snacks, food, hot drinks for the audience, so come join us.
Who are these folks who volunteered to, let their cars be test subjects?
Oh,
So the volunteers, the owners, their vehicles will not move.
Oh.
So they are local people who own EVs who really care about the climate or their cars and just like to share their experience.
Okay, so it's not their private personal
No,
vehicles.
we're gonna hopefully have vehicles from a dealership there that you can test drive where there is insurance to cover it.
Oh, yeah, that.
And professionals.
yes.
Oh, brand new cars,
Yeah.
even better. According to the flyer, there will be a Tesla there, I guess, if folks are interested. But a Rivian and maybe some of those less expensive vehicles, Anna, that you mentioned
So
as well.
for the showcase, we hope to have an array. We'll definitely have the Rivian, which is one of the pickup trucks.
Yeah.
We'll have a Tesla Model 3, which is the cheapest of the Tesla models. But then we'll have a whole array of other vehicles. The Chevy Bolt that I mentioned earlier will be there. So you can see those snazzy, cool tech cars, and then also still cool and snazzy, but slightly less expensive.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. And Feng Shu, will there be translators also?
Yes, we will have volunteers helping people with translation, speaking Mandarin, Cantonese, Vietnamese, Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right. And there is a rain date. We don't want to jinx it at all, but it's the next day, right?
Yes, May 7th will be the rain day, so just in case May 6th have rain, we will have a backup date.
Okay, all right. Talk about the collaboration with the Y. I was curious as to how that happens and how this location was chosen.
Oh, yeah. So last year for Earth Day event, we held the event at the Quincy High School parking lot, and that was targeting more for the youth. And this year we decided to choose a location where we can have involve more families and adults to the event. And YMCA is a good spot. We have good foot traffic at the spot, and it's a fantastic place for families to visit here. You know, a lot of families travel with their kids to YMCA often. So I think it's a good, and YMCA this year they also help us with raffle ticket prize for 3 months household membership.
Oh.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna draw during the event. So.
And it's right across the street from the high school. So.
Yes, yes.
So you're not moving that far.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else we should let folks know about?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Just come on down. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're expecting folks from all over, I'm guessing, not just Quincy, right?
We're really targeting folks in Quincy.
you are?
We want to
Okay.
make this a local community-based event, but anybody from anywhere is welcome.
Sure. You mentioned the website for the Alliance, Anna, but what is that?
So it's greenenergyconsumers.org.
Okay. And for Corey Fangshu?
It's coreusa.org.
Okay. Very good. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And thank you for watching us here at AEM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Please join us again next time.